Hello, awakened beings. Welcome to this channel where I do tarot and oracle readings to support you along your spiritual journey. If that interests you, feel free to check out any other content on the channel as well as interact with this video if you feel called to. Today's video is career messages for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So let's get into it. Career messages and some advice. Okay, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What do they need to know about career? Whoa. Hot potato just came to my mind. Okay, we got 5 of chalices. Page of Wands, 8 of Swords. The Tower. Hot potato. Interesting. Okay. Release. I feel like you're being hard on yourself about something. So the first card out is 5 of Chalices. This can be a card of course, loss and regret. These things are falling, into the water down here. There's 3 falling, but there's 2 still up there. But this person is focusing on what they lost rather than what they still have. Okay. And then we also have this release card. And of course she's grieving in a cemetery. It's raining. All right. So this confirms the 5 of Chalices. And I'm also being drawn to this here, which is 8 of Swords. Somebody who feels like they're closed off, out of options. Their hands are tied behind their back. They just feel like they don't know what to do next, and they feel helpless. They could feel helpless. And so, yeah, I'm hearing like the past cannot be changed. Okay. So I do feel for some of you that you might have made a mistake or messed something up, had a misstep, and you're really punishing yourself over it. Look at this person. Page of Wands. They're being burned by their own fire. But we have this perception card. And I kind of touched on this a little bit already, where it's like your perception dictates, your outlook and how you perceive things, obviously. And so, of course, one door closes, another one opens. And so what I was saying earlier is like, okay, you could choose to focus on what you've lost, but there still is what you have left, what you can be grateful for and what you can do with the remaining cups. Like what you can, how can you double it? How can you add some gains there, right? What is Capricorn needing to release? What are they mourning? We got self-worth. Okay, yeah, I hit it right on the head for most of you here. Because I feel like there's another story here that I have to uncover. But for right now, with this self-worth, there's like this, you're being hard on yourself. For some of you, Spirit is saying self-depreciating. Okay, so there's some of that behavior going on, and let's just stop that right now. Because what it is a mental prison. Look at this person. There's all these swords surrounding them, and if you look, they're just lined up this way. This person can literally stand up and walk, and there's no more swords. You know what I'm saying? Of course, that's just this card's depiction, but like that's the point where it's like you might feel that you're caged or that you're out of options and things like that, but really, the door is open. There's always a door open, and it's just about letting yourself feel that you're worthy of opening that door, worthy of what you have left and what's waiting for you moving forward. We have a Tower moment here. Hermit. I feel like some of you may have I feel like for some of you this could be more serious than I was thinking. Like you could have lost your position on for something, like position on a board, leadership position, or lost, you know, your job in general or something like that. Because I just feel, you know, the seat is empty. So that could be a message in itself of, you know, what you're releasing and what you're mourning, right? An opportunity that you had, a structure that you had, which was, you know, a position or title in the seat, and then, you know, lightning struck and shook it up. And so I feel like, you know, that lightning strike is really engulfing you. But I feel like Spirit is saying, so with the Page of Wands here, like you can be consumed in flames, you can be consumed in any element really. But ultimately with this, I just feel like you can take situations and turn them around in your favor. And so with the Page of Wands, typically, you know, in the positive light, it's about following a certain path and using energy, harnessing energy as motivation to keep going. And as you build that energy, it turns into the Knight of Wands, which is the pursuit card, the person actually taking action, right? So I feel like there could be honestly some energy here of not only could you feel remorseful, regretful, and just kind of processing loss and a release of a life that you lived or a position that you had, or, you know, a particular circumstance that you knew and for a while, right? Hold on, I'm losing my train of thought. Oh, so yeah, those are some things that I feel like you're feeling, but also with this Page of Wands is I feel like there could be some anger there, resentment there. And that's where this fire energy is coming from. And so like instead of you like resenting anybody or being angry at anybody, especially if you're directing it at yourself, you know, definitely just take this fire energy that you could be developing, and develop it, transmute it first into motivation and inspiration, and then put more flames into it that way, okay? Because the type of flames that are cultivating now, like I said, as resentment or anger and stuff, that feels a little bit more harmful and restricting, okay? There's no like progress happening with that. Okay, well, I mean, that's what I got. I feel like that's what Spirit is communicating, is that, you know, there's just been this big shift. No matter what it was, you're going through, you know, an emotional process of release with it. And ultimately, Spirit just needed to communicate how you can go about transmuting that energy. And really, it's about, like I said, you had perception. So if you're focusing on anger, resentment, and you're feeding it by focusing on it, then that's what you're feeding. But you can be like, okay, I feel angry about this, but you can be intentional about transmuting it into inspiration. Okay, what kind of creative idea can I do? Or what creative outlet or something like that can I then do instead of experiencing this anger? You know what I'm saying? And so once you start feeding that alternate idea, then you're no longer feeding the anger. And that's, you know, how you can transmute. There's many ways you can transmute, but that's an example. All right, so here's your message from Spirit. Allow for cause. This is number 1, which is in numerology, you know, obviously new beginnings. But we talked about that, you know, a door opening. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I'm going to read it from the book. The sixth great Hermetic axiom of cause and effect says there is no such thing as chance or luck. Excuse me. There is a cause for everything that happens in our world and the universe. Everyday events are commonly described as random or accidental. However, the Hermeticists tell us that chance is simply a label we use when we don't know the actual causes. For example, when we toss a coin, heads is a result of holding the coin in a certain way and flicking it upwards at a certain angle and velocity. If we could lift the same coin in precisely the same way again and perform an identical sequence of muscular actions a second time, heads would come up again. However, it is impossible to repeatedly toss the same coin in exactly the same way. The first card in the suit of cause and effect, Allow for Cause, calls on you to reframe your purpose and higher destiny. You are a player in your own life. What you do and what you achieve in this lifetime is not the result of blind forces at play. Your level of evolution and being determines what you attract unconsciously or consciously. Have you ever felt your life to be jinxed? Do you often see yourself as out of luck or regard some people as living charmed lives? For everything that happens, there is a cause. All right? And you are in control of that. So, that was your reading, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Hope that was helpful. Take care. Good luck on your journey.